Viewers, welcome to another episode of Intimate Conversations with Issa Favored. I trust the year has been treating you good so far. It's been good, and I think also goodness depends on your perspective of how you look at things, because life is life. Just as we have 4 seasons in life, everyday life also looks like that, but you embrace each season as it comes. So one day I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about how to be disappointed. And I listened to the conversation and I thought, maybe let me take the conversation and bring it even further so that whoever may not have heard it on the radio, my followers can also listen, because the reality of life is that life will disappoint you. You can have the best laid out plan ever, but life will go the direction that it wants to take. And it is said, the ability to deal with disappointment is a skill that should be taught at a very young age, because you are guaranteed. One of the guarantees in life is that you are going to be disappointed. And Minamus, I try to find people that would make this conversation a little bit more, enlightening. And I have my sister, a regular. She is my resident, She's I've got Pastor Gerty with me on the studio. Welcome, Sissy.
Shalom, sister. Thank you.
A beautiful year to you. I trust so far it's been good, and we trust that good vibes only.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's a good year.
It's a good year.
2024 looks promising.
Yes, it looks promising. We keep the faith. We do not lose. We just keep on. We do what we need. Now, we're talking disappointment.
Yeah.
Disappointment. I'm sure you've been disappointed more than once in life.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
What is disappointment? Let's start there. What is disappointment? If we were to define it, what would you say is disappointment?
Okay, disappointment is defined as when a certain action or process did not meet the required expectations.
Okay. I have expectations.
Yes.
So I do this with this expectation in mind.
Yes. Maybe we're very on time because we've just received results as a country.
Yes.
So it's a disappointment when a goal has been set by a learner. The learner has put all the efforts in place to achieve the
bachelor pass,
best of his or her metric. The 7s don't come back as 7s. They come as 4s, some come as 3s. That result is the actual manifestation of disappointment. Yes.
We all then respond to that differently.
Yes.
And we may all, I was just listening to you now, and when you were saying to me, maybe they were expecting a 7 because that's where they believe they are at.
Yes.
And then the outcome is a 4, or some even the outcome is a 6, and it becomes the greatest disappointment ever. Our ability to respond to disappointment, does it say something about us? And me and you, we always go back to childhood. Does the way a person is raised enables them or contributes to them being able to deal with disappointment?
Very correct, Sisi. And it's not only us desiring to go back to childhood. The schools of psychology support that theory.
Okay.
That says the bringing up of the child with their disappointment. When a child is learning to walk and their first steps are exciting to the parents and they're standing at a distance clapping hands, but immediately the child falls and has not yet reached the spot where the parents are standing, it's the parents' reaction to the fall that is going to put an imprint in the child's mind that I was not able to achieve something that was very impressive to my parents, to these heroes of my life, you know. So, you know, with us Africans, we also have our cultural responses to these things. Like in our culture, sometimes you're told when a child falls, ignore the child. Let the child find out by themselves that they need to stand up
Again, yes.
again and recognize by themselves the place where they have fallen, so that they don't fall there again. And then now that we went to a little bit of school, we are told we are harming children. So when they fall, we must pick up and talk, and if it's a step that made the child fall, we even talk to the step. You are evil. You made the child fall. So those are building blocks that will begin to build a perspective of that individual. When I have met a disappointment in life, be it socially, be it economically, be it educationally, be it relationally, how am I to respond? Is it a major train wreck, or is just part of life?
Sure. And I'm pausing because I realize that more and more I'm realizing that how we turn out as adults, the foundation played a big role.
A big role.
A big role. So this child now, as an adult, how they will then respond to disappointment, it's how we dealt with it at a younger age. Can we unlearn? Can we unlearn our responses to disappointment?
Yes, we can, sis.
Okay.
We can, sis Nomsa. It will take an effort and a commitment to the individual. You know how the disappointment, our responses can be built into a slight disappointment. Okay, so that didn't work out. Let me try something else. It can become a debilitating disappointment where if, say, somebody failed an interview, they decide, I'm not applying anywhere ever again.
Sure.
It's a major disappointment to them. Or at the extreme end, it's when the person, due to disappointment, can say, it's not the action or the process of something, it's me. And then they want to delete themselves from the equation to say, there's no problem with all the processes. The only thing is me. As we go back to childhood, we can reflect on things like, how forgiving are we as parents?
Okay.
When the child breaks a glass,
At last.
how forgiving are we? Or are we these perfectionist parents, which have been found to be very contributory to many disorders?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to take time for that kind of an individual raised in that perfect environment.
Where everything must be.
Yes.
Yes.
To allow a small glitch in the matrix. They won't allow it. So that's when the therapy will become even harder, and the therapy will even become prolonged.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we always because our focus when we have conversations, they have a lot to do with issues of mental health and all that, because we want to build a nation, we want to build a society that everyone who watches these conversations, they get to be aware of where am I in my state of mind in terms of dealing with life, in terms of dealing with all these issues that that comes across us. Now, how does one build up a tolerance level to disappointment? Fine, growing up, the parents and all that, they had all these expectations, maybe you could not live up to them, and then you became this harsh person to yourself who's continuously, and you've realized that it's not working. Yes, maybe you are not at a stage where you are ready for therapy. How do you then start though slowly to change the mindset of how you respond to disappointment?
Thank you. That's a lovely question, Sis Noms. I actually want to commend your work with this channel in building the mental capacity of our generation and the generations to come. Yes, there's something called resilience.
Yes.
And you can only become resilient when you are continually or frequently exposed to the item that you must become resilient to. You know,
So you must be more disappointed so that you can
yes,
build your resistance.
you must attempt many things in life. I'll go back even to the theorists that have built our understanding of the drive.
Okay.
Your Maslow's theory of hierarchy
Yes.
of needs. Your support system plays a role in how they encourage you to try something else. Okay, you've tried school, try driving, try. Do you have a bank account? Try banking and learn from yourself as a person that you've put 300 rand and you think it's worth withdrawing because it's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
It's 300. So you need to be exposed to many aspects of living
Okay.
and learn that all of life is embedded with disappointments. All of life.
All of it.
There are disappointments everywhere. We're working. Sometimes the employer sends us somewhere where we need to book and get accommodation, but we don't do the accommodation ourselves.
Yes.
If somebody else did it and an error occurred, somebody who's not familiar with being disappointed in that area will frustrate everyone, from the reception to the manager, will even call the company to tell, because they can't get a place to sleep tonight.
And yes. So in essence, then we're saying, in order to build up your tolerance level, your resilience, don't fight disappointment.
Yes, thank you. Yes, learn to deal that it is part of life.
It is part of
It is part of life, Sis Noms.
Hey.
Don't you get stuck in a traffic jam you did not expect?
I was saying to somebody, the other day, I was saying, I am learning to embrace the phrase, it is what it is.
Yes.
No need to fight.
And you get healthier.
Yes.
Physiologically. Your blood pressure doesn't run. Your mind remains stable. And you are able to focus and make decisions.
Sober-minded.
Yes, you may be 20 people experiencing the same thing that you all did not expect.
Yes.
Remember, we said disappointment, but it can come also from good things. We're not only disappointed when we're facing bad scenarios and difficulties. Sometimes you get disappointed from good things.
Ganjani so?
Like when you're getting married.
Okay.
You finally found Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, and it's a wonderful wedding celebration, and then the marriage should begin. Statistically, most marriages suffer a train wreck within the first year.
Yes.
You know why?
Yes.
Because people are trying to gel with each other, and it's not gelling so easily. I'm a neat freak. I didn't know that this person can't squeeze the Colgate properly. I find the Colgate with many shapes. I did not expect
Colgate and toilet seat have been one of the biggest issues.
When we met at the mall, there was no Colgate.
There was no Colgate, and there was no toilet seat that's left open or closed.
We're not marketing for anybody. Just remember, in South Africa, every toothpaste is Colgate.
Yes.
So now we're learning, or you learn that somebody worships the mirror more than you, and is the opposite gender. You're like, hey, dude, who should be in the mirror actually?
Like you're fighting for the mirror now. Yes.
So that is also a disappointment.
Yes.
Because what you expected is not happening.
It's not.
It's not materializing.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. It's a marriage. But it brings with it the disappointment of reality. This is the real guy, and he's really like that. He snores. Or this is the real woman. She's really like that. She can't fry an egg. She doesn't know how to boil one egg.
So then disappointment comes out of that. And that's when then your I don't want to call it maturity, but your ability then to
Yes.
respond to that, because that is what we're saying, how to be disappointed, how to manage, how to navigate disappointment
Yes.
as you go. And I want to go back to the example that you made also earlier on when we spoke about, result outcome. You have these children or these individuals that always set high goals for
Yes,
themselves.
yes.
And maybe they have been, when you have gone through life and it seemed like everything was able to flow the way you want it to flow.
Yeah.
And the moment now you build this mindset that I can do anything.
Yes. And I'll reflect to what we're asking. How will we then encourage people to build an ability to cope with disappointment? I was still with the Maslow to say,
Yes.
live in the reality.
Okay.
Live in your reality.
Reality.
What is your reality? What is my reality? I know the two of us sitting here were in two different realities.
Yes.
Let us talk emotionally, cognitively, our passions. Let us talk our goals for the future, our visions. They're not the same.
Yes.
Even parents maybe can learn how to engage in those facts of living your reality and allowing your child to live their reality.
Yes.
Some
yes.
of the students were pushed to get the servants because the parents are seeing a doctor
in them.
and the child is seeing a DJ. And I
so
don't
that
know.
also becomes the parents'
Disappointment,
disappointment.
yes.
Because I so did not take you to school to be a DJ that.
It's a challenge, Sis Norms. I don't even know. Do DJs get a accreditation of certificates and so forth?
don't know,
Or you
yeah.
just get known and you blow and you make money?
And you make money, yes.
So for me as a parent, it's a disappointment. And it might actually lead me to therapy where I need a specialist to talk to. Because one of the strategies of dealing with it, the first one is let it out.
Okay.
Speak it out, that thing that has disappointed you. Get somebody, support, mature, emotionally intelligent, who will not only hear your words, but who will hear you deeper than what you are saying.
Yeah.
When I say, I don't understand why did I raise a DJ, I never saw that I'm raising a DJ here. But suddenly, after all the school fees I paid in the most exclusive high schools, this person says they want to be a DJ.
I can imagine that is a really... but I love what you're saying. Get somebody who will hear you.
Yes.
Not just the words that you are saying.
Yes.
And I think that's also what leads to disappointment, when you are trying to make somebody understand you.
Yeah.
And then somebody says, "Kaniphi problem?"
There's no problem.
Like, why do you have a problem? So that alone becomes, because then it sends you to a space where you're like, maybe there's something, so you start doubting.
Your articulation, your concern, the area where you needed to be heard. Somebody doesn't have the perspective that you are having, that this thing is not supposed to be a disappointment.
So you live within your reality. You also then let it out.
Yes.
To say, this is what is troubling me. But in you letting it out, also just be aware that, know where you let out.
Yeah, that is.
If it's not going to a professional, know where, because sometimes, and I'm not sure whether we've said this before or what, sometimes we get along, we are all that, but I do not have the capacity to handle what you're telling me.
I can't.
There's nothing wrong, Mara, this is bigger. I can never comprehend what you are saying
and
to
it's
me.
very hurting.
Yes.
It's very hurting. You know, that's the language we need to develop within ourselves as a people. We need to be able to pinpoint even the emotion, to be able to say, I am sad. Are we able to separate sad from worried, from hurt, from I'm grieving? You know, are we able to know our ourselves emotionally to the level where we can say, I'm not angry, I'm sad.
Yeah.
What just happened saddens
me.
It doesn't make me angry, it saddens me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Is there any other in terms of how does then one begin to deal with disappointment?
Okay.
Because I don't want us to lose that.
Okay.
You made the reference to the Maslow, and then in the So was there any other thing else in terms of that?
In the managing the disappointment.
Yes.
Yes, the schools of psychology count the 5 steps.
Okay.
1, let it out. 2, accept your perspective.
Okay.
What perspective are you entertaining to the disappointment? Let's say the matriculant says it's the end of the world. That is their perspective. We need to bring them to a new perspective. And thirdly, you do a self-acceptance.
Okay.
This is me. This is me. And then fourthly, you don't allow it to fester. Don't allow it to take too long, to stay for too long, being a disappointment. It's a disappointment, yes, but can't we move on?
And not that each stage it's more, all stages I believe are important.
Yes.
I think this one becomes one of the most difficult ones.
Yes.
The moving on.
Yes.
Not allowing it to, because, and I'm not sure whether it's I'm going to speak from a woman's perspective, I'm not sure whether it's also applicable to males.
Yes.
We are naturers
Yes.
as women. We nurture even things that are not meant to be nurtured.
You're so correct. We nurture grudges.
Yes. Ulgone.
I won't let go.
Yes.
Even when we tell you that was a mistake that person made, but you can't let go.
You can't let go.
And fifthly, you take care of yourself. You take care of yourself. Find mechanisms that will help you to look after yourself in the best way possible, physically, emotionally. That is where the language of today, one thing I commend the millennials for is their ability to cut people out and cut people off. Immediately they say, whatever, they're out.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen so much of social media. I was saying 2024 is the year where we just we're not begging, we're cutting off. You don't give me any, I don't get the energy that I need from you. So in that, if it is people that have disappointed you,
Yes.
then remove yourself from the equation.
Will you stay in the fire?
No.
Will you sit and burn?
No.
So
Who wants to?
No.
Yes.
So it's the same calculation, the same mathematics we use there.
We use.
Your friend is constantly putting you down, exposing you to disappointment, doesn't acknowledge any good thing that you are doing. Get the scissors and snip, snip.
And snip, snip. But what happens now when the disappointment is something you cannot remove yourself from? And when I say remove yourself from, for an example, it's in the workplace.
Yes.
You can't then say, I'm going to resign and stay at home because that's irrational. How does then one try to navigate that?
It's a difficult one, Sis Norms. It's a difficult one because by virtue of the work that we do, we're exposed to people who feel identify us as a place to let it out. And I've noticed there are increasing numbers of the toxic workplace now.
Yeah.
Okay, we will help the individual by saying, do a correct analysis of the problem.
Okay.
Call it what it is. Don't sugarcoat it. Or don't minimize it.
Yes.
Call it what it is to the extent that it is. You are being ignored. Don't say it's not my time. Isaiah 62 says when the time is right. You are being ignored.
Yes.
So that you can deal with the emotion or the aspects of being ignored. and you can make positive contributions in helping yourself deal with that disappointment. For example, maybe you need to go and approach HR and ask, is there a transversal transfer that I can take? Or does my qualification allow me to transmute into another area of the company?
Yes.
So that I am preserved mentally, physically,
And-
emotionally healthy, and I don't lose my bread and butter.
Yes. It goes back, I guess, in terms of the 5 stages that name it for what it is.
Name it for what it is.
Yes.
It
It
helps.
is ignored and it causes this kind of emotions in me.
Yes.
Because once you have, and I think when you do that, I'm thinking it removes the power of that thing over you.
Powerful, what you just said. Very powerful.
Yeah.
As long as we don't know that we are dealing with a cat, and we know that cats are scared of dogs, we'll not look for dogs. We'll still, we'll walk around the yard, not knowing that what we are dealing with is a cat.
And it needs,
Let's get a bulldog.
then it will sort it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Own your truth. Let us encourage your
Yes.
followers, this Nomsa. You have every right to feel sad.
Yeah.
Sadness is not taboo. It's not illegal. You are not weak for feeling sad. You are not impossible for feeling that you are cast out. It's not illegal. It's not wrong. The only wrong about it is if you don't entertain measures to correct
that.
and get out of that fire.
Yeah.
Because very soon you'll be running into depression.
Yeah.
Very soon you'll have to be excluded on a medical unfit.
And I think that's basically what generally happens a lot in life, where instead of dealing with issues as individuals,
Yes.
I think we have learned. I was listening to something the other day that we've learned to survive, where we're like, I put on my big girl panties
And move on.
and move on. Hey, mara, one day the big girl panties they'll get torn
Definitely.
because every day you just putting on your big. But you're not dealing to say what is it that causes me to put on my big girl panties. This it is this. So in putting the big girl, it's you rather put the big girl because you are dealing with this issue.
Yes.
You are not ignoring it.
Yes, it's very correct, Sister Nomsa. Look, as you have just said, this survival mode is dangerous to health. Let us, in 2024, let's cut it out of our system. Survival mode is dangerous because it means what? From the health perspective, it means you are living on an adrenaline rush. And an adrenaline is an enzyme that was only supposed to be released
At a particular point in time.
when you are facing danger. It
So-
can't be an everyday rush in your system of adrenaline. That's where we end up getting your blood pressure rises. We end up getting cardiac arrest, people experiencing heart attacks at a very young age. A heart attack was never an item for a 23-year-old.
No.
Where is a 23-year-old getting a heart attack from? It's because we are living on an adrenaline mode. This survival mode is dangerous, people. Let us let go of it. Your body allows you to get an adrenaline pump so that you can survive a danger.
But now, if it is everyday danger,
You see now, when the danger is gone, that
then
adrenaline
it
is
comes
supposed
back,
to
you are
come down.
normal.
But if you're in a survival mode, it means you live flat up. No wonder those road rages and things
Yeah,
are
yeah.
increasing because the
Yes.
people are on high adrenaline. One mistake, there's a gun out, there's a
Tush, tush.
knife out.
Yes.
Things that were not. When people sit down later and say, what was
happened?
happening? You find out you bumped my car.
Yeah.
But you bumped my car after a disappointment of being dumped by my Mr. Right. My knight in shining armor. After I told all my friends, Tungisani. to my son. I hear wedding bells to my son.
Yes, yes.
And then my ride or die said, nah,
No.
it's not working.
Yeah.
Or when we meet on the road here and you bump my car, I'm not responding to the bump. I'm responding to the dumping.
The other, yes.
Yes.
The issues that I'm
The
carrying, the issues that I'm
shame.
coming with, and all that.
Sis Nomsa, I told some people when the lady consulted me, I experienced a disappointment at workplace of not getting a post when you pursued it. And when all the conditions look favorable that
Yes.
you would be the candidate.
Yes.
And then nature, the disappointment of nature came,
Yes.
and we're disappointed. And when I went through it for myself, yes, I needed experts to go and let it out.
Yeah.
And tell the experts what does it mean to me personally, and to my colleagues, the work environment. It doesn't sit so well to me. I didn't know that I am learning, as you are saying, Ma. I'm learning to cope. In future, I'll be able to tell other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the same year, somebody experienced the same thing, and was to that person, it was not a disappointment. It was a major disaster.
Oh yeah.
Her perspective said it's a major disaster. It's not a disappointment. So when she came to my office because of that problem, I quickly said,
Yeah.
look to me. You know what happened to me. What happened to me is public knowledge. Look at me. What did I do? I'm here. I'm not on survival mode. I'm here. I'm living. I'm not saying don't go, don't cry.
Go through the emotions. Go through them. It's normal.
Yes, I'm not saying don't be angry with the people who were there. Why didn't they appoint you? I'm not negating all of that. But go and look for option B.
Yeah.
Of your survival. Don't resign, don't retire. You know, most resignations, if companies would go through them, they would find out that they're not emanating from the job or from poor salary. They're emanating from some level of disappointment
that people have
in the organization. Yeah.
You see, I think my mind is still stuck on the issue of the adrenaline and survival and all that, and how a whole lot of people, and how we're seeing a whole lot of people going through depression. I think it's at the highest level than we've ever been at as a nation, and not just in South Africa. You will see that because when you are on social media, you get to see that across the world.
Yes,
it seems maybe because there's also awareness that we did not have before.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we are more aware of what is going on around us, and then I love what you said earlier on, owning your truth.
Own the truth of your reality.
I am here now.
And I'm alive.
And I am alive.
And I matter. I count.
I count.
You are allowed to count me out, but I will not count myself out. I give you full permission.
Because I can't control what goes on in your mind.
When you are counting the important people, don't count me.
It's okay.
But I will not count myself out. I will not count my children out.
Yeah.
I will not count the dreams of my children out. No matter how small.
Yes.
No matter how insignificant. And if we own the realities, it's Nomsa, we will exclude the fake life.
Yes.
Most of the fake life is a cover-up for some disappointments in life. We will exclude the people-pleasing behaviors.
Yes.
We will exclude the hate, toxic relations. We'll be able to be a healthy society.
Because that is what we want. Because if you are healthy, I am healthy, then we are bringing health. When we get together, we are bringing healthiness.
Yes.
But when you are sick, I am sick, we all are coming here, all we are dealing with our disappointment, we're adding to because then my expectation from you is this, you don't meet my expectation, then it's disappointment. Hell. Then we
And
have
the
a sick
generation
nation.
that is observing us, not dealing with disappointment.
Yes.
But I'm glad for them. They're outspoken.
Yeah.
They can ask you nicely, but why are you angry?
Yes.
Mama, is it only because you missed the bus? Is there another reason?
That you are.
Is there no other bus? They seem like they're talking small thinking, but I applaud them
Yes.
because they...
It brings you to yourself. It says, okay, asibuye, sila.
Let's talk.
Gahle, what are we dealing with?
Let's talk.
Yes. I think that becomes so critical to say, what am I dealing with? Because most of the time, because of the surviving issue, we run through, we run and jump through what we actually are dealing with.
Yeah.
So you are disappointed. What exactly disappointed you?
Yeah. Can you get the details?
Pin it down.
Yeah.
This happened. What exactly?
You are disappointed because I didn't come to your birthday party. Let's take that as an example.
Or I was not invited to your party.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. The major issue about you missing that party is what? And if you're honest with yourself, you'll come to the truth.
To the truth.
To say, I know Mrs. Nomsa's network. I wanted her friends to see me, that I connect
Associate.
with her.
It's
It's not even about her. It's not even about the party. It's about the other people.
Yes.
That you wanted them to know that Mrs. Nomsa is Kim Sam.
Therefore, it means I also, because it says if your value or your worth is now determined by the circle in which you find yourself.
Yeah. Do you know what people do to avoid the disappointment of that? People pay money, Mrs. Nomsa, to keep friends.
Sure.
Toxic reality.
Yes.
When a friend's cell phone bill is paid by a friend to keep the friendship,
You?
I'm proving my friendship
Yeah.
scheme.
It's sad.
Very sad.
It's sad when you find yourself in that situation because then you are not true
To yourself.
to yourself. You are not true. And sometimes then, because we're talking disappointment, disappointment may also come because I had somebody that I know recently who celebrated a milestone, birthday. And they were saying, I feel down. And I was asking them, when you look at it, what is it? Are you satisfied with your life
With how far
when
you've
you look
come.
at it?
Yeah.
You know, because they're like, I don't know, I'm really feeling down. And we're talking, and it's like, I don't know. I'm like, no, try to pin it because, and I said, I know that sometimes when I get those kind of feelings, sometimes I don't want to accept what is it. I know it. I don't want to voice it out because then when I voice it out, it's like you, and that's when you actually take the power off by voicing it out. But then you keep saying, I'm just feeling down. Why? I don't know. But if you actually tell yourself, you know why you are feeling down.
Yeah, it's the bucket list.
Yes, because then we all have these ideas that by this age I will have done this, by this age I will have
the
done this, by this.
milestones, yeah.
Yes, and as I said, that sometimes you can plan all those things and you can do whatever you need to do to make sure that you get there, but it still does not happen.
You see, Sis Nomsa, owning the reality and the perspective of the disappointment and letting it out in a safe environment. As you have said, you have correctly said, it grants you the power rather than the disappointment controlling you.
Yes.
You know, like for us, some people laugh when I talk with them. I say, no matter how many people judge me for being single and divorced, I'm not having a problem. What do they expect me to do? Must I go to the mall somewhere and grab some guy I don't know?
And say, marry me.
That's the reality of life. I can never
Yes.
grab anybody. And I would say, will they allow me? Can we share their husbands? Still, they wouldn't. So why make it a disappointment for myself that you want to make worse by indicating to me how shameful it is?
It is.
No, I determine
Yeah.
the level of shame that is associated with that disappointment.
Yes.
I'm disappointed, yes. I never wanted to be at this age and be in this situation. But I will not be put in a corner and be made to feel small and be made not to enjoy life because of someone else's expectation
Of you.
of me.
Yes. Because when you then live up to people's expectations, that's when you will end up settling. You will take anything that comes.
In a trouser. Called
Just
a
so
man.
that then they do not say she is single. And that when you are sitting all by yourself, it becomes a disappointment to you also, because you also know that I'm a Kona just settled. Just to make people, just to stop people from talking. So that of saying, I own my reality, this is where I am at right now, and I'm able to look at it and tell and identify it and define it and all that, then the power is removed from that particular thing.
Power, what you've said. You know, when you look at the rate of South Africans, let's just empower the people. The rate of South Africans not having accommodation.
Yeah.
Not having decent housing.
Yes.
The people not having decent transportation. You don't allow somebody to pull you to their drain by talking down on your car.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know the vehicles we used to drive. We ran with the big dogs. But because of life and disappointment
and the reality
we're in, we had to downgrade.
Yebo.
We're driving nameless things, but they are moving.
It takes you from A to B.
So I will not allow your expectation to influence my life to the point where I make decisions that will make me live a life I cannot live.
Yes. Remember when you said when you arrived here, you said, "Oh, so you went to Durban," and I said to you, "What Durban are you talking about?"
I was so genuine about it.
And I'm like, "What Durban are you talking about?" Like, no, I saw your status. I'm like, I get social media. You get like social, because sometimes then you are disappointed by the things you're observing. Because then, and for me, I was just going down memory lane. So as I'm going down memory lane, somebody sits in their corner and they're thinking, "Oh, she's in Durban, how I wish I was also there."
And they feel less than.
And you feel less than.
Disappointment, less than. I cannot achieve, like the person you were telling me about. The birthday has come. You need something to celebrate. What does this birthday mean? This milestone mean?
Okay, no, but I also realize, I don't know, I think I give it, and I was saying to them that I know a couple of people that have celebrated their Jubilee 50th birthday.
Yeah.
And it was the most miserable birthday that they have had. Somehow, I don't know, I'm still going there, so I don't know what happens at 50, but it seems a lot of, as much when people get to 40, they are very excited because life begins at 40.
Yes.
But somehow when they get to 50, it's like, I don't know what is that. I'll say, ask me next year, then we'll talk. Because then I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right now,
Yeah.
I'm talking about people's experiences.
Yes.
But those are some of the disappointments. Because when you're then looking and thinking, oh, I thought by this time I would be having this, I would have done this, I would have done this. I thought this is what will be happening according to my life. Ah, shame.
Some disappointments are very real, Sis Nomsa, and we cannot run away from them. Like a disappointment of trying to lose weight. And it's not working. Gym, slim, maybe it's genetic or something.
Yes.
And the person, they are most likely candidates of depression. Because all measures that I've tried, this weight seems to be stuck with me.
Yes.
The disappointment of not being able to carry children, infertility. Don't be African about it. Maybe if it's existing, maybe if you're someone else, the coping will be better.
Yeah.
If you're African, that disappointment becomes a community
issue.
issue.
Yes. Yes.
while it is personal.
Yeah.
When God has done it so excellently that it takes two to tango in that dance, how does it become a community matter?
national matter now that the whole community.
A community disappointment.
Yes, yes.
And also the disappointment of not getting married or even married on time. Or
Whose time?
community and the
Yeah,
other.
we are like, whose time, really?
Or even getting married to the right family,
Yes.
right, person that meets your so-called standards.
Standards, yes.
The disappointment of not having enough finances. I learned very sadly of a certain colleague who had those kind of problems. And I worried that how come the person never saw, I was blaming myself. Why wasn't I identified as somebody that she can let it out
to.
or to say, my finances are not talking Zulu, they're talking Swahili.
And I don't understand Swahili.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So those disappointments are real.
They are real.
When people are disappointed about those things, we won't minimize them. The only thing that we can assist with is to break it down and find out. For example, a majority of South Africans are living on credit.
Yeah.
We look good, but we're on credit everywhere. Sometimes the reality can wake you up. I had that reality wake up one unfaithful 15th something when I was rushing around at the mall, paying this shop and that shop and that shop. It's like the Holy Spirit came and said, girl, isn't this your payday?
Yeah.
And then here you are giving these ones, you're giving that ones, you're giving... What's wrong?
Yeah.
Are you working for them?
Yeah. Because it's your payday, but it actually automatically becomes their payday.
I saw it.
Yeah.
No. Something needs to be done. What can be done?
Not all is lost. Now that I know, how do I then work backwards? Yeah.
And give it the right perspective. It's the wrong perspective for us to spread the message or the gospel around and say everybody's in debt. Wonke umuntu uyakweleta.
Do something. Do something about it so that you can free yourself from that. Yeah.
Celebrate your one room. At least you've got shelter.
Got shelter. Yes. Yes. Ooh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming through. All we are saying is that disappointment is going to happen in life.
Yes.
You can't pray it away. You can fast 40 days and 40 nights.
Day 41, it happens.
Probably during the fast it will still happen, and you can do all you can, but it will happen. Don't let it define you.
Thank you. That's the key. Thank you so much.
Your parting words to our people.
Oh, thank you so much. People living in reality is helping your brother or your sister because there are people looking up to you out there and they know your story. And as you continue covering it up, presenting a lie, you are denying them the source of encouragement that they would find when they see you survive the disappointment that they know was critical in your life. Please, let's be real. Stay blessed.
Wow. Do not deprive people of learning from you. Oh, that's powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, viewers at home. As I said, and I think we've kept on saying in the conversation, that disappointments are a part of life. There's nothing you can do about it. All you can do, you can't stop them. All you can do when they have come, acknowledge, name it for what it is. Be true to yourself and own your reality. It is your reality. It's not the next person's reality, but it is your own reality. And when you acknowledge that, you are taking your power back. There is nothing as painful as giving your power away. So don't let life and life's disappointment take power from you. It is an incident, it has happened. Maybe you contributed, maybe you did not contribute, but it is what it is. Now, own it and say, okay, kuso, ngiyasukuma manje, I'm dusting myself up and I'm moving on. And these are the lessons that I'm taking, because as you take those lessons, somebody else is going to learn from you. When they look at you, they're like, oh, you went through this and you survived. Okay, it means I'm also going to survive. I do not know how, but then you can share what you did without imposing it also on the next person, because we all have to go through our own experiences in life. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you've subscribed to the channel. If you have not subscribed, yenza njalo phela. Khona manje, click somewhere there at the bottom, there's a subscribe button. Click that button, click the notification button, so that next time we have conversations, you can be able to be notified. I do upload every second Sunday, 1800 hours. We have conversation, we sit and we talk about life. So thank you for tuning in. Until next time, you take care and you stay blessed.